to welcome you to the Asia Pacific Anmol Ratan Awards for Leadership in Excellence and Business Conclave, hosted by IDRA Global in collaboration with the Global Entrepreneurs Association. Tonight, we celebrate outstanding entrepreneurs and business leaders who have demonstrated excellence innovation and resilience in their industries. This event is not only about recognition, but also about fostering connections, exchanging ideas, and inspiring future success. I'd like to invite Professor Kriengsak Chareonwongsak to give a keynote speech. He's PhD doctor, former President, Parliament, Senior Fellow at Harvard University.
Mr. Vijay Singh, the Chief Organizer, Vinod Chakdev, my friend Ravi, Soni, Mrs. Somsong, who happened to be my good friend together with her husband, and also Professor Kongkiti, who Sobat. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my deep pleasure once again to be invited to this gathering, which seems to be annually. And every year I come here, I feel a bit older. It has been numerous times I've been to this kind of gathering, and I've been to India, as I told you, more than 64 times. Therefore, I want to offer to you the discussion tonight on my speech about India from my viewpoint. You have taken the attention to make me think about the unstoppable India, which is the theme being mentioned for this keynote tonight. And I want to explain to you that what I'm going to say tonight is going to be reflected upon my costume. You may not realize that I have concocted this combination of costume together. The inner piece is Modi jacket or Nehru jacket, which is a gift given to me by the Indian dear friend who sit around here. And I purposely wear it tonight to show appreciation for the gift well given. And if I just wear the Modi jacket, I wouldn't be able to say too much, because I will be saying the same thing that you already know about India. So what I did is that I put on a Western suit. Together, it became a new kind of fashion that Bombay has to take up. Because it's purposely to illustrate my speech tonight why India is unstoppable. Once India is integrated with the entire world, India will be totally unstoppable. Combining this costume explains the benefits of the international world today and the Indian that we have accustomed to. India, needless to say, has to integrate it with the West, which you've done very well so far. You have conquered a lot of companies in the West by putting the Indian CEO on top of a lot of Western companies in the economic fronts, in the educational front. I see so many Indian professors teaching in all well-known, reputable universities in the world, in the West, all the great universities. I've seen all the chief engineers, scientists that come from India all over the whole US and the Western world. I came from Silicon Valley myself, chairman of a semiconductor company, belong to the not to Thai people that have branches all over the world. and listed in the stock exchange in Singapore, for instance. And at Silicon Valley, half of those who do all the work are Indians. To be honest, if the Indians left, Silicon Valley will collapse. So I have seen the tremendous linkage that Indians have made with the West, and it's just a start. Why India is unstoppable? Because the key philosophical elements of mankind is when you know how to unify and integrate, you are stronger by being so than by moving with yourself. When human beings integrate, you bring the best of every world together. And therefore, integration is the key word that is so important to bring out the very best. Indians have contributed greatly to the world civilization, as being so well spoken by my good friend Ravi Soni. And I don't have to repeat the great civilization of India. For example, the Indus civilization, you can see the tremendous impact it has made, 5,000 years at least in the world. And well spoken, Thailand is totally impacted. My name is Sanskrit. You can even guess what it means because it's totally Sanskrit in language, both my name and my surname. So you can see that India has tremendous contribution by itself, and you will continue to be unstoppable because you have been the very foundation of the modern day civilization. But what is the key in moving you further to be unstoppable is to integrate with all the existing features around the world. To your west is the Western world, America, the Europeans. These are the people that India can integrate. To your east, when you look east, is ASEAN, China, and beyond. And therefore, it's clear that by integrating to both sides, the West and the East, you will find the full potential of India unstoppable. Let me offer some succinct ideas. In the Western world, you have the advantage because your English is better than the English themselves. All the reading I have, all the books that written by Indian are much more sophisticated English language than the British authors usually. I don't know how they taught you to speak so well and write so well. So India can integrate with the West easily because English is an international language, for instance. So I don't have to dwell so much on it. You have done so marvelously well. The key issues now is the East in these coming decades. How do you integrate with the East? Remember what I said a few years ago when we were here together in this kind of gathering. I call the new CIA. It's the center of the world. CIA is acronym for the block of land, peace, in the middle of the world. C is China, I is India, A is ASEAN. This land mass combines almost half of the world population. And we are so near to one another, convenient logistically. We can travel within a few hours to this land mass with the center of the new world of 21st century. Why do I say that? Obviously, this century is an Asian century. There's no doubt. Within the Asian century is a subset of the Asian century which is CIA. These are the fastest growing areas of the world, no doubt. Look at how fast India has grown economically. Look at how fast China have grown. And look at how fast ASEAN together have grown. And ASEAN sit in the middle to glue the two big giants, the two big civilizations of 5,000 years together, India and China. And as being well spoken by Mrs. Somsong, there's no direct fight between you and China. It's obvious reason why you need a good friend in the middle to glue you together. Because you two would not naturally like to be together. But with Thailand as a center of ASEAN, which I keep telling the whole world everywhere I go, that Thailand is a natural center of ASEAN. We can use Thailand to glue ASEAN together and to use ASEAN to glue China and India together to produce our unstoppable India. Why do I say Thailand is a center? Logistically, we are in the middle of the whole 10 ASEAN countries. We glue the peninsula ASEAN, the mainland ASEAN, and the archipelago ASEAN, the islands. And we're in the center. And right in the center of Bangkok, we can fly to all the cities of ASEAN very quickly, very efficiently, and therefore all airlines are smart enough to make the headquarters of ASEAN here, and all the flight has to land in Bangkok. Impossible any other way. And therefore, logistically, it's most convenient. Thailand glue you to the Ocean of India, the Gulf of Bengal, Ocean of India, to all this side, the Gulf of Siam, and all the way to the China Sea. We can see the sea route, the air link, and the land route that can easily come all the way, and we have tested it, that you can drive all the way from India to Thailand and all the way to China. The rail link is obviously there. I was invited recently by the Chinese government to be at the inauguration of a key issue of the old capital called Xi'an, where the whole Silk Road starts. And it built all the way to Europe through India. My feeling is clear that if we have Thailand as a center of ASEAN, a natural hub of ASEAN, and ASEAN together as 650 million people, a fast-growing economy, we could look east of India. It will go through seamlessly, and it will provide a very good buffer, provide a very good bridge that move all the way. I know that you are trying to move together with BRICS, and there's China in there. Today, Thailand is part of this coming BRICS plus. And therefore, we could do wonders. The BIMSTEC is brewed under the whole atmosphere where Thailand is highly influential in the early days. Ask my friend Ravi from the UN, he knew that. So I would say for sure that if we look east and you move with Thailand, which you have a natural inclination due to every reason my friend have spoken, so I can cut short some of my speech because he's taken my notes and spoken them all. So therefore, it's truly India will be unstoppable because you integrate the entire world together. And what would happen to India? India will become the #1 leader in due time. Let me predict, and which Indian would be too humble to say so. Why do I say India will be #1 leader eventually? Today, the #1 superpower of the world is the US. follow with the Chinese. But look at what happened with the US. The US is on the way on decline slowly, obviously. It will take a while for them to decline fully, but it will decline. I can see that. Mrs. Somsong listened to me on television, she said, and I offer some opinion what would happen when Trump come in. So therefore, this is a desperate attempt, I call Trump syndrome, to save US. When you have to articulate so strongly America first, America great again, that means you're not great already. That's why you need to be great again. That means you're on the way down. You're slowly down, and you're trying to rescue yourself from being so fast going down. Chinese are coming up, and that's why the Chinese are flexing the muscle, and they are not as willing to kowtow to the US. And tension is happening everywhere when it's obvious that if you don't contain it well, the world will be in huge conflicts. The Chinese will become number one leader eventually. Not soon, but quite soon, but not soon. It will move there. And what is the world after the Chinese become superpower? Number one, after the US. Let me predict. The Chinese will slowly come down too, eventually, after they become at the pedestal where they arrive. Why do I say so? Look at their economic growth. It's slowing down. Their population size already not number one, number two. You have the dividend of the demographic of the youth. India are full of young people because you love producing babies. The Chinese are not producing babies, and therefore they are getting old. It's an aging population. And wherever aging population happens, it will slow down eventually. The working population is not sufficient to come by. The India will continue to grow, not only number, where you're already number one in the size of population, but you will produce productivity and huge amount of production that come from India soon. And you're moving rapidly forward in economic growth. You have a huge middle class. Actually, your middle class is bigger than the US entire population. And therefore, if you put all your effort together, the US have to worry that India is coming next. Let me tell you, all the signs on my head tell me that I'm on the right track. Not because I naturally like the Indians, and I'm friends of Indians for ages, but I like my friends to come on top eventually. So at least I can say that I'm friends with the best in the world. And the Indian is coming. Watch it. And I hope I live long enough to see that day when my prediction comes true. The Indian will become number one in the world eventually. You are moving that way, even though you don't do enough work. But just imagine, I mean, you really work, what would happen? So I believe India will be unstoppable in every front. In every front of civilization, in my books, if you have read my books, there are 5 key areas you need to be surpassing everybody else to find yourself the next civilization. And all the 5 is there. Let me name 1 or 2 to save the time, because I was told to speak longer than everyone else, but not too long. But let me say this. Your knowledge is really contributing to the world understanding. It's clear. And when your knowledge transfers into technology, look at what you have done, wonder. You are not behind anyone else in the entire world in any kind of technology. Space technology, now you can do it cheaply. Who can do as cheap as you? To have this space technology cost-effective technology. Americans have spent maybe 200 times more than you to do the same thing. And therefore you are there, knowledge, technology-wise. And many other things that I can mention. Let me tell you, you are the only democracy that is functioning fully, where the world respect, and you have a huge population. When you cast ballots and count the votes, it's unbelievable. It takes a long time to count. Because it's the biggest democracy in the world. Therefore, you will not be retarded by the name of the game of democracy in the world. The West would not try to hinder you, where Chinese will be hindered somewhat. Look at what happens socially. Indians are so used to glue hundreds of languages together and become one. The unified India, integrated India, that able to be one despite you have numerous languages, numerous kind of backgrounds, is amazing. How can you do it without coercion? Many countries have used iron fist to coerce them to be unified, but you do it smilingly like any Indian always do. You shake your head like this. It's so simple for the Indian to unify socially. And the Indians are doing extremely well, even though you haven't even started intentionally doing it yet. Underline my words. In my opinion, you haven't even intentionally do it yet. When you start doing it, what would happen? India going to rise and it will be unstoppable. I hope I'll see it in my lifetime, which is, I'm 70. So I don't know whether I'm going to see it in my lifetime, but I hope that my prediction will be true. I want to live long enough to come back to this conference and able to say that my prediction was true. India will be number one foremost superpower of the world eventually.